Hey guys, this is Dapper Dan, and this is my video for a tutorial of how to play the Pokemon trading card game. Now keep in mind that this is just the bare bones of the game. If you, certain things like retreat cost and different types of energies and stuff like that will be in a different episode. So enjoy.
Now, in order to play a Pokemon trading card game, you need three things. You need a deck of 60 Pokemon cards, a coin, and some damage counters. I like to use dice as my damage counters, but really you can use whatever you want. Now, to start the game, you start out by drawing 7 cards. Obviously, you wouldn't be showing these to your opponents, but for demonstration purposes, I'm showing you them. So, we got 7 cards here. Now, start out the game, after you draw your 7 cards, you start by putting a basic Pokemon down in the active spot. You can tell it's basic because it says basic in the corner. If you don't have any basic Pokemon to start your hand, what you do is reveal your cards to your opponent, shuffle them back in your deck, and draw 7 more cards. Then if you don't have basic cards again, show it again. You keep doing the same thing until you have basic. Each time you do that, though, your opponent gets to draw a card. So you really kind of want to avoid that. Now, after that, you can take up to 5 basic Pokemon in your hand and put it in the bench. Another thing to note is that all these cards right here will typically be face down at the beginning of the game because you don't want your opponent to know, but for demonstration purposes again, I am keeping them face up. Now, after that, you take the top 6 cards of your deck and put them face down as prize cards. The object of the game is to take all your prize cards. Now, you can start out with 3, 4, however many you want, as long as both players agree and they start off with the same amount. It's just typically 6. The way you take prize cards is by knocking out your opponent's Pokemon. You do that by attacking or using abilities, just all sorts of different ways. Typically attacking, though. So this is your basic setup at the beginning of the game. After both players have their 6 prize cards down and they have their Pokemon, you flip them over, see what you have, and start the game. To see who goes first, you can do really any means you want, rock, paper, scissors, dice, whatever. Typically it's the coin flip. I think that's what they use in a lot of competitive ways, but, it doesn't really matter in casual. So, let's say it's your turn. You start the game, and you can draw 1 card. So let's take a look at what we have here. On your turn, you have a few options. You can play an item, play a supporter, play an energy, and then after all that, you can attack. So here are a few different types of trainers we have here. Trainers are kind of like the supporter cards. We have supporter, item, and an item tool. Now the thing about supporter cards is that you can only play them once per turn. So let's say I had 2 Salons in my hand, I could only play 1 of them this turn. So let's say I play it. Lets me switch my deck for 3 basic energy. The nice thing about supporter cards is that they're typically designed to help you get cards. That's just how supporter cards are made. So it's always good to have a few of them in your deck. So after you take your 3 basic energy, for Salon for instance, shuffle your deck, and then you put it in this card pile. Put that over here. Now, the other types of trainers are tools and items. Tools are trainers that you put on Pokemon. So this one, for instance, is a Giant Cave. I put this on Dino, and he gets 20 more health, making his health now 80. The other type is just basic items. The nice thing about these is that you can play them as many as you want per turn, so, stock up on them. So, I'm just going to keep that in my hand for now. Now, every turn you can play 1 basic energy from your hand. So I'm going to play this dark energy to Dino. These energies allow you to attack on your attack with your Pokemon. Use their abilities. So because I have this Dark Energy on Dino, he can now use Deep Growl, which, you know, is something to help intimidate and harass my opponent. So after that, you can attack with anything if you have enough energy for an attack, and then it's the end of your turn. And then we're gonna move on to combat. So here I've set up a little scenario to kind of explain how combat works. Right here I have Dino here with 1 black Dark Energy, and Tornadus here with 3 energies on it, fighting and 2 water. Now, the way you attack is by attaching the correct amount of energy to your Pokemon to use its attack. So for instance, here I have a Dark Energy on Dino. This allows him to use as a move Guard Press. Guard Press only requires 1 Dark Energy to use, and then I can just do it and do 10 damage to Tornadus. Unfortunately, I can't use Headbutt because that takes a Psychic Energy and 2 Colorless. And even though it does 30, I don't have that energy on him, so I'm out of luck there. So what I'm going to do is, on my turn, just attack with Dino, do 10 damage to Tornadus, so now he's at 100, so it's not much of a dent. So on his turn, because Tornadus has 3 energy attached to it, he can use his move Hurricane. Hurricane does 80 damage. Now, because it does 80 damage, and Dino here only has 60, he gets knocked out. So he goes right over here, discard pile, and my opponent gets to take a prize. Now, after that, I get to play Pokemon from my bench, and it's now in my active spot. So, on my turn, let's say I have this Gothita out. It has 10 damage on it, and I'm like, ooh, that's bad position. But luckily, I can evolve Gothita. So, take this Gothorita here and evolve him. Now, to explain how that works, if you have a Pokemon that evolves from a Pokemon you have on the field, if that Pokemon has been on the field for at least 1 turn, and it's not the first turn, you can play that Pokemon on top of it. And now that's who it is. So Gothita is now Gothorita, and now has his attacks and her health. Unfortunately, because of that, you don't actually take the damage off of your Pokemon, so Gothorita still has 10 damage on it. And I don't have my energy to put on Gothorita, so it's really all I can do. So it's my opponent's turn. He has his Tornadus. He does 80 damage to Gothorita, which knocks her out. And unluckily enough, I have no Pokemon on the field. So even though my opponent has still 4 prizes left, I lose because I don't have any Pokemon to play. So if you're going to find yourself in a situation with only 1 Pokemon or so, you'll want to try to remedy that as fast as possible. Thanks for watching my video of how to play a Pokemon trading card game, and look forward to some of my videos in the future.